Okay, I hit the recording, so officially, good afternoon. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Market Watch Group Weekly Market Wrap. Sandy's here, so we can get started. That's what we've been waiting on. Hi, Sandy. Good day from down under. Welcome out to... Welcome to the Weekly Market Wrap. I may commence. Love it. All right. Disclaimers as always. What do we need to remember? We are not brokers or advisors. We do not give advice or recommendations. This is for illustrative and educational purposes only, as always. And let's talk about it. We've been building to this week for 2 months, essentially. What is the Fed going to do? We, as a group, collectively underestimated. Jer Bear came with a surprise. I love it. A la Alan Greenspan. Greenspan was nodding, frowning and nodding in approval as Jer Bear came with 0.5%. Market responded well. Here's the deal. I mean, you can see it's not just like, oh, it's just, sunshine and rainbows. They're still ebbing and flowing. But overall, what is the assessment? And that's what we're going to look at when we look at our revisit of the market posture. Oh my goodness, PJ, good to have you recovering at home. That sounds like quite a recovery indeed. So on behalf of everyone, we wish you the very best in your recovery. And we hope to continue to see you during that time. So we'll analyze the market. We will revisit our posture from this week and get a little bit of a look ahead at what we think it's going to be. We will look at our mindset for trades. If you're carrying trades, I get it. Let them run. Let our winners run. Our posture tells us to let it run. Right? We've been taking profits. I feel like we've been really letting things get to targets. Last two alerts got to their targets recently. Those were nice. A couple others are still in play. What are we looking for next week? Now that we've gotten through the Fed, it's just business as usual. What's next? Now we keep looking to see, do we get our soft landing? Do we get our ongoing economic strength that continues to warrant and justify the Fed's stance as being more accommodative in showing both growth and still a ebbing in our inflationary data? We'll look at our opportunity list, our watch list. And we'll look at wrapping up this week's. That's what we forgot. Oh my gosh, you guys. Yesterday, I'm like, are we forgetting anything in our trading foundations? Was there anything we had talked about? Yes, record keeping. We were gonna look at the spreadsheet. Okay, that's on me. I'm gonna put it on the Tuesday. Now, here's the good news: is that record keeping, section 6 in the trading plan, transitions immediately to section 7, which is feedback. We can't have feedback without record keeping, so we're kind of gonna just look at them both simultaneously. I will go back and revisit the spreadsheet to make sure you have a good sense of logging, how easy it can be. We'll go from there. Has anyone heard from Steven? I haven't seen him in a couple of days. He usually is on and posting, so I'm gonna have to reach out and say hello. All right, let's get into it. First and foremost, what do we have? Well, we've pulled back 0.22% today. Now, volume is going to be an interesting one for us to score this week. because we had average volume, it was flat. We had above average volume and it barely pulled back. We had a big above average volume when we jumped. And we had above average volume today, or at least we will. Average is 49.8. We're at 50 million. So we're at average with 36 minutes. We're definitely going to be above average. This is a pullback. Honestly, we have we have a small selling, big buying. I might just call the whole thing a wash, let the prevailing stand, and I would still be, let's just start with volume. We popped up to a 0.25, and now what? Well, I mean, I think we'll see. Let's just pop in here and take a look. Any early insights? Any early insights? Let me know. Let's walk through this. Okay, this was buyers, sellers, nothing, sellers, buyers. Okay, before I make any hasty judgments, let's just go in here and look. Oh, it doesn't matter. It is above average. It looks like it was enough to be above average, but it was not an up day or a down day. So some people might say it's a red candle. That goes to the sellers. No, it closed exactly where it closed the day before. So that's nobody. The next day it closed a little bit lower. Now here was the point I was making before. I was saying, hey, look, if we went from here to here, and then we went from here to here, I find it very difficult to give those the same weight. Do you not agree? And now we're going from here to here. So if you add up those two little ones, they're still not as much as the big one. So theoretically, we would say this is sellers and this is sellers, and then this one is buyers, and that gives us a 4-4. Now, 4-4 equals what? Tie goes to the buyers. We're still at 0.25. Honestly, that's where I'm going to end up, I think. Still at 0.25. Quick sanity check on where we should be. This is where we started. This is where we ended. A nice little upslope. Yeah, that looks like a 0.25. I think that's going to hold. Thoughts? Do you agree? I'm jumping around. Let's go to the short term. What has happened? There's our cutoff right there. At this point, last week, what did we do? We scored it. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. Michael says he's going 0.125. It's your score. You do whatever. You can put whatever score you want. He's cutting it. I love it. Okay. I'm keeping mine at a quarter. There's no rules as to what your scoring mechanism can look like. Unless you decide. You want rules? Put them on. So last week on this, we were a 1.5. We increased from 1.25. We've wavered a little bit back and forth on that one. You can see, here's where I am. Overall, been bullish. So if we were a 1.25 or a 1.5 here, has anything happened that makes us possibly give it a better score? Yes, for me. What happened? We broke to a higher high. That's a higher high. We were stuck at the same high before. I'm going to give it that's the higher high. That's the best we've seen. I'm giving it a bump because of that. Unless all of a sudden today we just drop off and just collapse. I actually think we could continue and end up at flat for the day, not even a negative day. And if we don't have a negative day today, if it ends up being a wash, the volume, actually no, the volume's still going to be a 0.25. Never mind. Volume's going to stay the same. For me, I'm raising my short-term score by a little bit. Now, here's what it might turn into, where we say something like this. Remember that it's out of a 3-point scale. That's about a 1.5, 1.25. We'll see. I mean, we don't even know yet, but that's what I'm thinking to myself. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns? Let's pop this out to 3-year weekly. Look, we said as long as it can get back in and hold up in this green trend, we're going to leave our score where it is. And it is. It's done it. It got back in last week. This week, what did it do? It stayed. Okay. What does that mean for me? That means that my long-term score is going to stay at a 1.5. It's been there for quite some time. No reason to change it, so I'm going to leave it there. Major market. Okay, we're going to just do a quick 3-month daily assessment between the IWM. Nope, that is waste management. We want IWM. Where did we get to? We got back up to resistance, but not through it. Pretty nice little jump here recently from 205 to 225, 20 points. I mean, that alone is almost a 10% move from there to there, right? Then we go look at the Dow. Here's our large caps. Large caps are at a higher high. Large caps, I'm not going to give it all of this. I'm going to go from here, 404 to 420. This also moved 20 points, but this moved 20 points on a $400 stock. That's about 5%. IWM moved 20 points on a $200 stock. That was about 10%. I'm going to say I think we're going to see a little bit more indication of small cap momentum, which makes sense. A lot of it got priced in as an expectation of interest rates, but because we got the 0.5 point, it still looks pretty good. Okay. That's important to us. The fact that we're seeing small caps moving into a more favorable position than large caps is a growth mindset, a higher appetite for risk mindset. From a sector standpoint, industrials was on fire, right? Industrials was on fire. I would say consumer discretionary has shown some goodness. I don't know if it's enough yet. If you go back, let's go back to our posture. So far, we're looking for a 1/4 point change. Is the momentum we saw on small caps enough to kick this up 1/4 point? That's iffy. I'm not going to say yes. I'm going to say I'm leaning towards not. Maybe it surprises us and gives us that. Sector rotation, I don't know. There was so much momentum in defensive sectors with utilities and consumer staples. I think it might still be a little slow. All right, let's talk about the VIX. The VIX did some funky things as well. So far, I would say our posture is looking to increase 1/4 point, maybe 1/2. But it's improving, and that's what's important, right? We've been talking about, is this September, October going to possibly look like last year's September, October, where all of a sudden things got a little nasty, turned into a correction? And I'm going to say, for me, fundamentally, no. We have the Fed in place, putting out a commitment to be in front of any weakness. Don't fight the Fed. We have that. And we're breaking out. What's the last thing? Let's go look at the VIX. Okay, so what did we have here? We had a higher, in this 5-day period, we went higher low, up, lower high, and lower low. I know. Sometimes it's so smooth and just perfect. And other times, it's the best we have. You got to make do. So what do we know? That made this low higher than this low. Okay? What does that mean? Minus quarter of a point. But then this made this a lower low, right? So that is plus a quarter of a point. Then we took out the prior low. So this is a lower low now than the prior one. So a lot of that fear that was like, oh, I don't know. Now it's shaking it off. So this is another positive quarter of a point. What's the net? These two cancel each other out. That's what I'm leaning towards. We may not see that next time. I don't know. That's what I'm leaning towards. Have you been watching it? What are your thoughts? Is what I'm saying making sense? But the good news is we're at 16. We can definitely get lower from here. Oh, yeah. We want to see this thing drop back, ideally from here, drop on down into this area, come up, give us another one of these lower highs. That is, and then de-escalate into a nice low range between 12 and 16. That's Santa Rally, the fall, winter Santa Rally. Good trading. Looking forward to that, ideally. I think we're going to end up at about a 5.5. Not the best we've seen, but a real good score. Real solid score. That's tradable. What does that mean? It means that anything on my watch list that gives me trade indications, find a bull market, buy the dip, right? That's the thought process. So that's where I'm looking to go. It's the best score for weeks. And Sandy, you're right. What I want you to notice is this. This is where we bottomed 2.25, 2, and then we had a little bump in August. That was in August, right? Now what? Now it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on our 6th week. And then we go back in time. Oh, don't you love, I hope you love the ability to go back in time and look at previous markets and look at how you assess those previous markets. So you could be like, has this happened before? We did have a time. I want you to notice that we had a time here, same time. Look at the time frame, August 20th to 27th. And then what? 1, 2, stall, fall. 1 week of improvement. 2nd week of improvement, stall, big drop. Big drop, a 2-point drop. What would that immediately have us do? Woo! Get in your turtle shell and relax. Tighten up wrist, right? 2 weeks, stall, drop. What do we have happening now? Okay. So a little earlier in August, but there's what it was. Now we had 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a little bit of a pause, right back there, 4 weeks, then now 5 weeks, we're up again. That's a different type of strength. The other one showed weakness early. What do we see here? More sustainable. More foundation. We didn't get to the 5s last time. We got there, pulled back a little bit, got there again, and now we're advancing further. It's different. It's different, right? For me. That's what I'm going to use to inform my trading, to say, hey, any pullbacks, and we're going to go through the watch list, any pullbacks, we want to trade those pullbacks. The market's technically in a bit of a consolidation right now, right? When we see that the SPY, let's get in there, looks like this. You can see your stochastics is in this area where right? We want to be careful through here because we know it can just kind of grind a little bit of a pullback like that, and then we're off again. So we're not in a rush. We're not forcing trades. Ooh, what did I tell you? I said today would be interesting if we even look at us fighting our way back up to break even for the day. We're just about where we were yesterday. Buyers' resilience, right? We believe the buyers have control of this market right now. Until proven otherwise, that's the expectation. Okay, so let's go take a look at a few other things. What's on next week's calendar now that we got through this week? Consumer confidence. Okay, it's expected to be in the low hundreds. That's a very good score. There's nothing there. New home sales, nothing there. GDP expected at 3. That would be great, but for the most part, there's a lot of Fed speak, you'll notice. Bowman, Powell, William. But you know what? They just had their report. Nobody cares. Then on Friday, we have what? Our next inflationary report. Right? Our next inflationary report. We've got spending, income and spending, and then PCE. So just like that, we're right back into the grind. We're right back getting information. What are we looking for now from the Fed? We got that 0.5 point. Oh, we were behind. So we got the 0.5 point. Now here's the deal. We're already, this is another 0.25 point. This is another 0.5 point. You can see already that the market is favoring even another 0.5 point. Okay? And then if we just take a glimpse at December. Yeah, I mean, that's another 0.5 point on top. I mean, the market believes the Fed is in an accommodative stance. The market tends to behave in our favor in accommodative periods. That's where we are now. That's what we should be looking for. Don't fight the Fed. Give me your questions, your thoughts. Here's today. Woohoo. Yeah, Sandy, right. This is, the old saying, everybody's a genius in a bull market. Well, where's our action? Apple? Chips are overall not great other than ABGO, and Nvidia's holding up a little, not as bad. Defensive's doing well today. Utilities doing well today. Yeah, because we're in more of a consolidative position right now, right? So that's not really all that concerning in actuality. Okay, let's get to the watch list. Let's get in. Oh, where are we at? Not quite positive, but very, very, very close. Very, very close. Okay. Why can't I jump? There we go. Apple. Yeah, again, I don't feel like I missed something. People, oh, did you miss it? No, I was waiting for this anyways. Now what? Now I wait for the consolidation. But what does it mean? It bodes well for the S&P, for Apple to have joined Microsoft. Remember, we already identified Microsoft as strong. Let me take a quick jump over there for a second. Microsoft already made its jump, and now we're just waiting for that to consolidate down. It might not come back more than maybe 425, if that. We need to be ready for new trades on Microsoft. These are leaders. Apple is 11% of the NASDAQ, 6% of the S&P. Microsoft is 10% of the NASDAQ, 7% of the S&P. Those two are movers. They will pull everything else with them. Aflac. I have no problem with this hiccup. I would trade into this coming out of this. If we don't break below these lows, this is still valid, still viable for us. Amazon. We got to be patient. It's just kind of fluttering around in this overbought area. I want an actual consolidation, but I am definitely going to trade this again. This is one of our trades that did phenomenally well. AXP, overextended. Got to wait. BAC, pausing. We talked about this earlier before the Fed. Wasn't a formal alert, but I think several people, myself included, ended up putting this on. Yeah, I'm going to hold. I still think there's time. I don't want to shut it. I took a little bit at resistance, right? You know that one of my primary. So I have take profit targets. I take profit targets at old highs, and then I'm trying to march on up to the other one. So it already got some. Heiken Ashies look good. Love those Heiken Ashies. Yeah. Yeah, those still look just fine, right? Okay. Or not bad. Not bad's good enough for trade management sometimes, right? BK. If you're in some of these regional financials, I would be thinking about profit taking, tightening stops. Same thing with any of your industrial trades that you have potentially put on. These industrials made a huge. Now, what does that tell us? If industrials are doing well, we're building things. We're growing. Economically speaking, that's favorable. We need to see it as such. But for now, a lot of these industrials are doing what? They're starting to consolidate. I would love another bite if I was in one. First bite if I missed them. These look fine. Defensives are, real iffy. They fell apart. Why did the defensives fall apart? Why did that happen? Well, because if people get more bullish, they get less defensive. And that's what we saw happen. Right? That's what we saw happen. We got one on before. Here's CMG. That's in consolidation, looking for the next trade. Sandy, how about you? Where would I expect this thing to pull back? Well, I've got some old highs that tend to become new lows. Tends to meet up with that 50-day. Boom, boom. Bada boom, bada bing. Costco. Too close to earnings. There's nothing there now. Got to wait. Diamond's a little overextended. Fastenal. Like with other industrials, it's overbought. It's overbought. GBTC overbought. Gold just keeps on marching higher. I bought silver bars last year for my kids for Christmas. To just, buy something that wouldn't be like shoes or something they throw. It's 5 or 6 ounces. It's like $250 or something. I'm going to do it again, but now it's going to cost more. I wish I would have done that the whole time, just like you buy a couple ounces, a little silver. Oh, it would have been amazing. GDX, yeah, gold looks good right now for sure. Precious metals look good for sure. General Motors, still kind of trying to work out whether it's going to be a cup and handle or a mini handle after the first broader handle. Google's right up to the 50. I said I'd love to see it get to the 50 to convince me that it's there's the V. Broke that. Now what? Give me one of those. Higher low. That's it. That's our trade, right? That's what we're looking for. If you go back over here to the start of that trend, it's going to look just like this at the beginning every time. Every time. Not like sometimes. Every time. Goldman Sachs. I like it, but not now. I need to wait for a consolidation. Home Depot in consolidation. Ready for the next trade soon, ideally. ICE, it's trying to stabilize. Still has a good trend. IWM, we'll see. JP Morgan, iffy relative to others. That looks great, but it's overextended. Coca-Cola, okay. I mean, I'm hopeful that it can try to move out of this a little bit, but it's got some work to do. I'm not going to give it much more flexibility than I have, right? Once I give it a hiccup, I don't give it much beyond that. I don't let it hiccup and then hiccup again and then hiccup again and then be like, I wonder what's happening. If I get in over here and then it gives a hiccup, it's like, okay, let's see. MasterCard. I like MasterCard. I'd be looking for a potential trade soon there. McDonald's looks like it wants to move again. Meta. Bullish, but overextended. So we got to be careful, right? We just traded a lot of those that made these big moves. Now we have to be patient and let things reset. MMM, not much there for us right now. Morgan, sideways. Microsoft, great, but needs a pullback. I would love to trade this back down here between 420 and 425. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. NDAQ, still going. So I'm still holding. It's still going. We're still holding. This was an alert. Came back in this area. It's still going. Great. Netflix. Although we might be, I would be thinking about, if you haven't, what was the original? I can't remember. Let me go back and find. Let me find the original alert for this. NDAQ. Did we hit our first target for some profit taking? 76.25. No, not yet. It's a little higher up, it seems. Oh, 73.60. Oh, that's the old high. Yeah, I set that one a little higher. I can't remember why. I think because I do remember why. Because this was pronounced, I wanted to kind of give it that first little bit. So I kind of took that, I believe. But I agree with Miguel. Like right now, if you were thinking like, hey, should I take some profits? Yeah, maybe so. It's never a bad idea to take a little bit before the weekend. Sold 25%. Love it. Look at these beautiful ideas of trade management. Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay, where were we? Netflix. Looks a little overextended. NVIDIA, just kind of in no man's land. PGR, same. PLTR, I'm looking for the pullback. I still think there's more pullback. I'm not gonna jump the gun on this thing. This was one of ours that had a great turnout. Qs just kind of sitting. RKT still pulling back. RTX. I would still consider it. The sellers can't seem to push it down. SPY looks pretty good. NVIDIA is not being a beast. It lost its beast mode status, Sandy. I agree with you there. Another 25% for NDAQ. Love it. Locking in some gains. Smart. Tesla continuing to move up a little bit. TSM. Okay. UNP. That one did not work out. Gave it every opportunity we could, though. Right? Every opportunity we could. Got rid of some here, the rest here. keeping the loss minimal. Okay. And here's the hard thing, right? We look at industrials, we look to put on. This is why, I typically put on 2 or 3 from any given group. Right? When I had others on from the group, but if you didn't and you only end up in one, it's hard. It's hard when you have a group that moves well and one that doesn't move quite as well. What are you going to do? Sometimes you eat the bear. Sometimes the bear eats you. USB still moving. If you were in it, I would hold it. US dollar still down. The VIX still down, holding up the way we expected. Looking bullish going into the weekend. Walmart. I mean, it's hard not to say I'm thinking about it. Do you agree? It's this beautiful trend. Just made a new higher high, pulled back. Looks like the buyers are trying to come back in. Definitely thinking about it. XLB, we're bullish on materials. We're bullish on communication services. We're not that bullish on energy. Bullish on financials. Even more bullish on industrials. Getting more bullish on technology. These still are okay, but steady. Healthcare, still okay. Apple just dropped nasty. Ooh, right at the close. Is that right? Let's go take a peek. Let's get in there. Intraday. Boom. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, get out of here, active trader. I don't need you. Sure enough. Giving it all back today. Okay, real quickly. This week, we're moving on to analytics, which is the dashboard. That's where I have something like this right here, right? That shows number of trades. That shows percent winners and losers. Average wins versus average losses. Expectancy. Kelly. Profit factor. That's new. I added that recently here. I haven't added it to the new one yet. If you want all of this amazing information, first you have to have a log. So that's what you're doing this week. A log. You're logging your trades in order to have gains and losses. This one's a little different. I use this for something different. So if you're like, that doesn't look quite like mine, I know. This is what I had up. I just wanted to make sure that I showed this. In order to get to analytics, you have to log. How do we get a good log? Download them. They're available for you in the resources or in the downloads, I mean. There's stock and option. Keep them separate and make a habit. I promise you this will be one of your most fruitful daily and weekly routines to keep your trade log current. So critical. Anything less, you're driving with your eyes closed. There's no feedback. There's nothing to help. This is what we need. Make sure you have it. My win-loss is improving. Kelly is increasing with each 25 trades. That's it, Sandy. The aggregation of marginal improvement. You don't need to I'm changing everything I'm doing. Make a little improvement here, and then a little improvement there. And then a little improvement here, and then you make this part a little better, and then all of a sudden you're like, look at that. Look where I am. Exactly what you're talking about. And then you're like, oh my God, look at what I did with this bull window compared to the last bull window when I'm like, I didn't know what to do with that. Yes, we need to have that progress. That's what helps push us forward, because sometimes it's hard when you're in it to see the progress, and you need to make sure you're looking back to see it. Thank you for sharing that with us. I hope everyone else is doing the same thing. And then come in and share. We need these wins. We need to share our wins with each other, celebrate them. It's important. You guys know trading can be such a lonely experience sometimes, and let's make sure it's not. It's too easy to pop in and be like, hey, is anybody on? Let's chat. Let's talk about it. Anyway, look at us wrapping up with 1 minute to spare. What's going on next? Sunday, at usual, As usual, the 11 a.m. Eastern time, we'll have our posture. We have a good sense of what we think it's going to be. We'll go from there. It's great to see everybody. Good week. Yeah, trading's been good. Been making some money. That's all I've been hearing from the group is people talking about making money, putting on good trades. So, I love it. Obviously, there's probably been some losers here or there, but nothing too bad. Nothing that you didn't handle and manage. There's our closing bell. We'll let that wrap it up. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you Sunday. And as always, happy trading.